Yeah, we're rolling. All right, dude. So here's the most important thing is that the beauty of the podcast is this is like the only place you can be absolutely, completely, totally authentic and real, and there's no censorship. We don't edit anything. Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah, nothing. So like we're like whenever we hit record, not this part, but when we actually get started, it goes and we don't edit anything out, and what ends up in the thing ends up in the thing.
All right.
How awesome is that, huh?
Better watch my language. Though.
Exactly. And man, like I said, dude, what we're gonna do here is because you have you have a unique life. You've had some unique experiences, and what I have found is a lot of times people can take a look at where they are right now in their life, and they can go back, and what they're going to find is that there's been some people along the way that have made an impression. They've had a positive impact on you, and we're going to find out who they are and what made that impact, and we're going to talk about teaching and kids and students and school and athletics and the importance of that, and a part of building who you are and character and music, and how all those ingredients add up into the recipe of you, brother.
Gotcha.
You down?
I'm down.
Yeah, let's do this thing. All right, here we go. Teach Like a Rockstar podcast. We are rolling. Like this part, here it comes. We're going to hit it right here. Absolutely. We are going to get to the bottom of some things today. We're going to figure it all out, David Grace. Every single bit of it. All right, keep coming up. We have Teach Like a Rockstar shows next week. Arnold, Missouri. I'm coming for you. I'm coming, baby. We have about 500 teachers in the Foxy 6 school system. And we're going to be out there next week. I believe it's on a Tuesday. Next week, this day, on Monday, we're going to be travel. It's a travel day for us. We're going to show up there Tuesday. We're going to have a great day. And then we're coming to Florida. Jacksonville, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, and then back home in Texas, the 21st in San Antonio, Houston, Texas, the 25th. Teach Like a Rockstar. Get enrolled, man. Online, teachlikearockstar.com. All right, David Grace in the house today. We're going to do this podcast thing that we do for teachers. Now, David Grace, first of all, that little intro music, are you telling me that it doesn't even ring a bell? Not even a little bit.
Not even a smidgen.
A smidgen. Man, I didn't know I was going to break out the big vocabulary today. All right.
I don't have many words like that, trust me.
That's the one. All right, so man, so that is a tune. It's a smidgen of a tune from Sounds on the Radio, man. That's a Lang Freeman
Man,
tune.
I recognized it. I really did.
There you go.
I swear. I'm like, man, it sounds familiar. I think I have it on my iPod.
Yeah, and so that is the one that's it's called Sing. It's the one that somehow they got into the American Idol.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man, Lang Freeman, he's the master at figuring out how to get his music in the movies and on TV.
I tell you, and he's a very talented cat too.
Yeah.
What a just a talent.
Yeah,
Straight talent.
and so did Lang work on your record at all?
Yeah, we did he played all the rhythm guitar tracks, or most of them, and acoustic tracks, and then he helped with all of my pre-production. Me, him, and Ken. So
all the living room sessions.
yeah, it was really cool. Like that was my first professional CD I did with Ken, and I had no idea how it was going to work. The process of it, and I pretty much thought we're going to go in, have this thing cut in 2 weeks, and it lasted 9 months.
Right.
So we had the pre-production part. It was actually very fun because I'm very young in this business. I've only been in it for about 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And I just learned so many things being in the studio and around those professional musicians like Ken and Lang and Gary, all them cats that played. And it was real fun. I mean, it was a learning experience. I actually learned how to write songs and different formats, and and putting things to where I didn't think that you'd have to put them in. It just like really small, minute things that changes the whole song. You know?
Absolutely, yeah, the whole
And it was very
structure
cool.
of it.
Yeah, so I think the recording part actually took about a month. The pre-production part took about the 8 months.
Right, exactly.
So it was fun though.
All right, talk a little bit closer to that mic for you. All right, so when now when you talk about young in this business, let's get down to it. So you were in the music business.
I'm in it. Yes.
Yeah, deep into it.
I'm no turning back now, pretty much.
Commit, no plan B.
Nope, there is no plan B.
All right. So now and like you said, you're young into the business, but now how old are you? You're what?
29.
29, but only 4 years into the business. That's a pretty interesting thing because when you see on TV and you see people going through some of these kids are when they're like 7 and they're in voice lessons and they're taking piano and dance and everything that leads along to the music career. And when you look at their life, man, it's like their whole trajectory, the whole plan is based on that one goal into music. Right. But brother, you're you took the scenic route.
Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah, yeah, man, I was just a big sports guy when I was young. So my dad was in music my entire adolescence, and he played in bands and wrote songs for 30, 40 years. And he just stopped playing about maybe 8, 10 years ago.
Right.
Like actually playing around town and touring a lot and stuff. So yeah, I never had an interest in it until I was about 23.
How strange is that? I mean, it's bizarre, really, if you think about it.
I really, it's funny. I actually bought my first guitar. I think I was 22 when I bought my first guitar, and the only reason I bought it because it was summertime, and we did football practice at 3 o'clock every day, and that's all we did.
Right.
And then I worked on weekends, so there's a lot of downtime in the summertime. So I went and got a guitar and just taught myself how to play.
Yeah.
Pretty much out of boredom.
Right.
So. That's how I got started, and
we all have motivators for our passion. For you, it was boredom.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a lover of music. I mean, I love going to live shows. I love live music. I just never had an interest in playing or singing ever until I just got older. And even my dad was like, "I can't believe you're doing what you're doing right now," because he tried and tried to put me in lessons, and I was like, "Nah, I want to play football. I want to play baseball."
Right.
And yeah, he's just amazed. My whole family's kind of amazed. And even the former players that I've played with in college are like, "You're actually doing this?" And I'm like, yeah. I said, I kind of fell into it. It's just weird. So
yeah, it is weird because so many people like that's their whole life's goal. They think about it. Every plan, every thought is about that. Every action they take and decision they make is to get to that goal. And you just kind of show up and I'll give it a whirl and see what happens.
That's pretty much what I did. Pretty much, I finished my master's degree in 2007. And I was a college football coach for a year, and I was at a crossroads. I mean, I've written a handful of songs. I was actually performing in a couple, little small, dive bars and stuff.
Right.
And my head coach or some of our coaches came out and saw me play, and they're like, "Hey, like you're actually good at this." And I was like,
"We thought you were faking."
Yeah, like they just thought I was doing it for fun. I mean, which I was. I mean, I really found a passion for it. Like once I got on stage, I remember my first time I got on stage, man, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
I just wasn't expecting it, and I must have downed 10, 12 beers before I even got
Easy.
up there. just to cool my nerves. But it was at an open mic night, and I actually I got up there and I sang, but like everybody was like, "Yeah, that was good." Everybody's clapping, so like I got done and I'm like, "Well, that's good. That's over with." The first experience over with. So pretty much after that, it was a breeze, because I think I was more along the lines nervous of people actually thinking I'm good or I'm bad.
Right.
I was kind of like trying to get a good reaction. Like, okay, are they going to think I suck or are they going to like it?
Right.
So
now here's the funny thing because I grew up and I did some athletic stuff, but not nearly at the level you are at. I wrestled and that sort of thing, But here's a guy playing college football, right? And so you've had that experience of getting fired up, and there's a dude on the other side who's going to come full speed at some point tonight. He's been thinking about you all week, and thinking about coming full speed, head first, into your face as fast as hard he can come. But you're fired up for that, but you're scared to death to get on stage and sing a song, right?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, it's crazy. That's just two different types of nerves, playing a game, that was never about being nervous because I guess it's just like you said. I started at a very young age. I started when I was 10 years old, so I was kind of like already prepared for that moment. You know, once we got into the playoffs and and played in the big games where there was 20, 30,000 people there.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was nothing compared to the 5 people sitting out there watching this open mic show on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's go back. We kind of got ahead of ourselves, and let's go back. So you are you're a Texas kid. Grew up in Texas. I could tell by the camouflage coat you wore in this morning, and grew up in South Texas.
No, actually, I grew up here in just south of Houston.
All right.
In Santa Fe, Texas.
Santa Fe.
That's where I grew up.
Okay. There's some serious country happening down there.
It was back when I was in high school. It was pretty country. It's actually grown the last 10 years. It's just exploded down there.
Yeah, it's a boom down there, brother.
I mean, we got a McDonald's, Jack in the Box.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
shoot.
I know what you're talking about. I went to Katy. And everybody knows what Katy is today, in Texas, but it wasn't like that when I was there, man. I remember getting the McDonald's. I remember it was a big, it was lined up at the drive-thru.
That's what I'm saying. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Man. And just so many subdivisions just grew up around there. And I think when I lived there, our population was around 7,000 or 8,000.
Right.
I think now it's like 25 or 30.
And so did you do all of your school in Santa Fe?
Yes.
And so everybody knew who David Grace was because you're part of the community and getting in trouble and athletics and all that stuff. Right. I could tell. I'm a teacher, brother. I can spot these things a mile away. They don't change. Just get a little hairier. That's all.
You gotcha.
And so I can see the look in the eye, man. And but you're basically a good kid, but you're having fun, and so grades. Well, tell me about your grades, like in elementary, junior high.
I was always about a B student.
Yeah.
I could have been a better student. I'll say that. Actually, elementary and middle school, I don't know what it was. I think I was just so focused on sports. I just didn't think I needed school. And like back then, it really wasn't like the way it's pushed on kids today, athletes. Make sure you have good grades so you can get into school. Because people think if you're a good athlete, they just give you a scholarship. And you're in college. Doesn't work that way. So, but at that age, it was. I was a CB, student. So I just didn't focus on it very well.
Sure.
And then once I got to high school, my first years of high school, I was that kid. I was like, all right, I'm good at football. I'm going to get a scholarship, or that was my goal, of course. And so I didn't think I needed school. So I just slacked. Didn't even pursue any type of hard work in the classroom.
Right, just getting by.
Right, just getting by. I was a C average student my junior and sophomore year. My freshman and sophomore year, and had a 2.2 GPA. And one of my coaches pulled me aside my junior year and said, and he pretty much he straightened it out for me. He goes, pretty much if you don't do better in the classroom, he goes, no school's going to pick you up because you won't be eligible to play. And I'm like, what? Eligible? What's that word even mean?
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, my junior and senior year, I was an A student.
There you go,
all the way through.
All right, so so is it safe to say, since athletics was such a huge part of your education, is it safe to say that some of the best lessons you learned in school was there with the coaches on the field?
For sure,
in the weight room, in the field house.
Yeah, I had a coach. Actually, our whole staff. I was very blessed to have the staff that we had, and. They really cared about us, and they, just life lessons. They taught you,
Yeah.
And they're just a good group of coaches, and we all leaned on them all the time for anything, and they were always there for us, and they were a great staff. It was a very smart staff as far as football knowledge, and and like anything, it's just like I told you about my coach coming up to me and telling me that you have to get your grades up or you can't go to college.
Yeah.
And they were a huge influence for sure.
I'll tell you what coaches have figured out, man. And in this little teach like a rock star thing to do, there's always a part we talk about classroom leadership. Most people call it classroom management, but after hanging out with coaches for so long, I kind of changed that over to classroom leadership, because what you find in classrooms is, like, in a typical classroom, you see rules like, be on time, bring all your stuff, but when you're around coaches, you know what they talk about? They talk about responsibility and commitment and family and respect and integrity and honor and all those things. And so what it is like, they create this environment the good ones, the good staff. They, they create this environment where you don't. I mean, you have rules and guidelines, what time to be there, what time. But for the you don't really need the other stuff because they're so focused on the commitment and the family and the respecting of each other, and even the coaches, how that hierarchy of coaches, like how they respect each other in front of the kids. It's like you almost don't even need the rules once you have all those values figured out with your players. Such a huge lesson that anybody can take into the classroom. Not just the weight room, not just the football field, but right there in the math or chemistry or reading or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
All right. So now athletically, you were a football guy, true?
That's right. That was that's the only thing I seem to focus my mind on at all times was football. Yeah, just real big into it.
And then junior high, Pop Warner, junior high, the whole thing.
Yeah, I started at 10 years old, man. I did Pop Warner, then I went to, I played through junior high and played in high school and went to college.
Who was your high school coach?
We started off as my first high school coach in junior high or in high school?
High school.
High school. My first varsity coach, I was a sophomore on varsity, and his name was Todd Shoppy. And he was only my coach for a year, but he was very, very influential. I mean, he was a big guy. He played the NFL for a couple of years. He was offensive lineman, huge guy, real intense. It's like he's like one of those guys when he yells, it's like his head's gonna pop type guy. And yeah, he was my first coach, and he's just one of those guys who you just automatically respected. And like I said, I mean, we're just surrounded with such a good staff of coaches, and just that had the knowledge of football on and off the field. It was a great experience. I got lucky with it.
And then he left.
He left. Yeah, he went and got a principal job over in LaPorte. I guess he was. I mean, Santa Fe is kind of a sketchy place as far as parents saying why isn't my kid playing, and
right. That's everywhere, man. The whole political.
I just, like I said, I mean, I was oblivious to all this at the time.
Sure.
And I was like, why are you leaving us, man? Like, you're a great coach, And but our next coach, actually, he was actually on the staff as well. It was Coach Krauskopf. And
so then he kept the whole staff.
He did.
Pretty much. I'll tell you, that's one thing a lot of people don't understand, especially in other states. Like when I'll go to, I'm all over the country, and I'll go and talk to teachers, and like I'll hear somebody says, yeah, man, I coach a football team. And like he coaches the football team. It's like him.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Like they don't have they don't have like an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator,
really,
special teams, defensive backs, quarterbacks, coach, receivers. No.
In high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just kind of like he sponsors the team, man, and he goes out and they strap it on, and there's like 30 people in the stands, and they play football.
And that's it.
Yeah, then that's it. It's like yeah. And so, but what they don't get, like in Texas, there's like huge money, huge budgets, huge staff.
Right. Yeah.
But along with that comes the pressure of being a coach. And so, in fact, I had a principal years and years ago. I had a principal, and there's a turnover in the school, and it was a smaller district, and she came in as a first year to be a principal. And just before she got there, she came in probably last month of school. It was the same type of deal. Our principal left to be a superintendent in another district, and they already decided to replace the head coach for, the record. People didn't want an average team. He was going, he was winning 4 or 5 games a year. No. And so he was, he's moving on. And so they had already had, hired somebody else coming up from Corpus, and so she was going around meeting some of the teachers, and what do you hope to teach next year, and meeting the coaches. And she asked one of the coaches, what do you hope to teach next year? And he goes, well, I have to worry about me. The head coach been fired. And she says, yeah, okay, but you didn't get fired. He goes, no, but I was the offensive coordinator.
Right.
And she goes, I know, but what do you want to teach? He goes, no, you don't understand. You don't understand.
Right.
Because he will not be here, neither will I.
Right.
None of us are going to be here. And she's like, well, no, you certainly have a job. You didn't get fired. He goes, well, he's trying to explain to her.
Right.
And so sure enough, and she really didn't get it. She came from an elementary school to a high school and really didn't understand the power of that thing that goes on. And within days, these guys just started showing up and looking around. And he told me, he goes, well, I found a cardboard box next to my desk with all my stuff in it. And that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. That's the head coach goes, pretty much everybody goes.
Yeah.
Because everybody brings in their own staff. You know?
For sure, yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. That's funny that she didn't get that.
Had no clue, no clue. You had to break it to her.
That's funny.
I know. And so you had such a good time playing football and being part of teams and learning from coaches. Was it one of those things that this is what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to college, and after that, I want to play football. I'm going to coach. I'm going to do my thing, just play as long as I can. And
yeah, actually, I was, as much as I love football, I never really thought about, like, you know, going to the NFL or anything like that. You know, I'm a shorter guy. You know, I'm only 5'10", but I was pretty big back in my day. You know, I was about 240 or 250. I can move a little bit. You know, I wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but I wasn't slow by any means. And my goal was to get a full ride scholarship, so my parents wouldn't have to pay for any school, or I wouldn't have to get any student loans, and pretty much play my ball in college. And then once I'm done, I started off, I wanted to be a high school coach, and I saw how the politics worked in that, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing this at all. And my junior year, I decided I was going to my next goal was to get my master's degree so I can be a college coach. So those were my goals. You know, I was just going to be a college football coach, you know, and that's where I guess my career was going to start. You know?
Yeah. And so you graduated from Santa Fe and got a scholarship to where?
A&M Kingsville, actually down by Corpus.
Yeah, so, man. What are they? Javelinas.
Javelinas.
Yeah. Very few people outside of Texas know what that nasty animal is.
Yeah, I didn't even know the school existed.
Yeah.
Because the offers I was getting them from Division I schools and 1AA schools. So I didn't even know what Kingsville was or where it was at on the map, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was funny when they were recruiting me. You know, we had guys, you know, 20 guys in there a day. You know, me talking to these recruiters, you know.
Right.
And the guy, Coach Ballard was his name, who recruited me. Real smooth guy, like good recruiter. He goes, "Hey man," he goes, "you know, I see all these big schools in here." He goes, "Here's my card." He goes, "Call me anytime you want." And I'm like, Kingsville. I'm like, you know, I'm not going to talk to this guy, but I don't know what it was. He ended up calling me, you know, and yeah, they just straight up talked me into it, you know.
Yeah.
Like my biggest deal in high school, we didn't win very many football games, and I'm very, very competitive, and I couldn't stand it. I'm like, I don't care what school I go to, if it's Division I, 3, 2. I said, I'm going to a winner.
Right.
I said, I don't care if I even play. I just want to be on a winning team to see what that is like.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what actually hooked me at Kingsville. I got offers from Sam Houston State, like Stephen F. Austin, I think, University of Houston. But those were all, you know, 500 teams.
At the time, yeah.
And I was like, I ain't going to do it. You know, I went to Kingsville. And they were winning 9-10 games a year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's it.
And you knew you were going to play there.
Yeah. Well, I guess when I got there, I don't know. Like, I just wanted to win. I didn't care if I played. I wanted to be on the team. I wanted to, you know, play my part. And, you know, of course I wanted to play. But just do whatever it takes just to win football games. That's all I wanted to do. And I definitely accomplished that. We won 4 conference championships in a row. So, and made the semifinals and the playoffs twice. So, it was awesome, man. I definitely hit my goal as far as my college career goes.
Sure. And then so your junior year, you're thinking, man, I might coach. I might keep doing this thing. If I'm going to coach at the college level, I need my master's degree. Right. And then you got to do that thing where you get like paid like $4 an hour to do a what's that called?
A GA.
Yeah, right. The GA job.
That was one of the hardest funnest, but one of the, I guess, sleepless times in my life.
Yeah, most people don't know what that is. Explain what the GA torture. It's like it's like medical school. It's like when you're doing your residency or something.
Right. It's graduate assistant. So pretty much they pay for your school while you coach. Right. And then you know, it's just grunt work. You know, and at a smaller school like a Division II school, there's only 4 coaches that are actually paid on the staff, and then the rest are, you know, GAs or you know, volunteer guys and stuff. And I never knew that until I was a part of the staff. You know,
right? I
thought everybody got paid, you know, except for the GAs, of course. But yeah, we started that, and the best part of my game when I was a player was I just understood football. I was very, like, intelligence was my thing. You know, I wasn't the biggest, fastest, but I can diagnose a play, tell you what's going on in a heartbeat. So
Football IQ.
I had a very high football IQ. And so when I started, a new coach came in under my old DC, Coach Buff, who was pretty much my mentor my whole college career. He was a great guy.
That's perfect.
Coach
Buff.
Haskell Major Buff was his name.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty awesome. He actually hated his first name so much he contemplated changing his first name to Coach.
There.
He told me that one day. I'm like, wow. He goes, don't ever call me Haskell. I'm like, all right, Haskell. No, he was a great guy, and he pretty much he's the smartest coach I've ever been around as far as just knowing the game. I mean, he's just one of those guys who, I mean, could just look at the defense, during practice and know if you took a wrong step, if the free safety took a wrong step, and the defensive tackle took 2 wrong steps, he'll tell you. He'll tell you what everybody did wrong, and he'll look at everybody. It was amazing how he did that. And but I got to where I was doing that, when I was on a staff. But yeah, the worst thing about a GA was the long days, because you had to, especially during the season. The off season wasn't as bad, but during the season you're up at 5 or 4:30 a.m. cutting film, and then all day you're doing football stuff, meetings, staff meetings, game planning, etc. Player meetings started at 2:30. Those were an hour. Practice started at 3:30. That was 3 hours. So and after that, practice over at 6:30. Went and started my master's classes at night. Right. So that was 7 to 10.
Oh, by the way.
Yeah. By the way, you're actually in school still. I'm like, right. Yeah. So I go to school from 7 to 9:30 or 10, right. And then I had to go back and cut practice film to watch the next day.
Sure.
So I mean, it was 16, 18-hour days every day of the week.
Yeah.
I think the one day we had off somewhat was Sunday nights. And man, I just sat down. I'm like, geez, this is hard. But it was so much fun though, because I loved it.
Yeah.
I love football, and I don't mind cutting film and all that stuff. I mean, it was grunt work, but we were good, and I was good at it, so I enjoyed it. But man, just 3 to 4 hours a night of sleep. That's all I got for the whole semester. It was pretty rough, but yeah, grunt work as a GA. That's the tough part.
And so your undergraduate degree's in what?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology. And then your graduate degree's in?
Psychology.
Psychology.
Right.
How'd you like that?
It was actually very interesting. I actually started, when I first started my master's degree, it was going to be in kinesiology as well. And the first couple of days of class, it was the same exact classes I just took. And I'm like, I don't want to take the same class I just took. And I'm like, so I'm going to change it. And I have no idea how I even got a psychology degree. I just started taking classes, and it's counseling and guidance in psychology or something like that. But it was interesting, man. It taught me how to work with people better, and like even as a coach, look at things from different perspective.
Sure.
And it actually helped out a lot. I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. Very interesting.
Just the other day we talked to with a guy that was in here, and we're talking about the psychology of coaching, and just how it's not that our expert coaches have really gone to school and studied it, but what they've figured out, just because their job depends on success, they figured out a lot of things. And just like we're talking about the simple example was how you never hear coaches say don't fumble. That's what we say watching TV. We always hear them say protect the ball, right? Because when they say don't fumble, all the kids thinking about is fumble, 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 fumble. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just I've always said we give a lot of times as teachers we make fun and we tell jokes about coaches, of course, but when it comes down to it, man, when your job depends on the performance of a 14-year-old,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Who might be having a bad day.
Right, yeah. His girlfriend might have left him in second period.
Who knows? Yeah, exactly. and my job depends on how well this kid's going to perform here on Thursday night.
Right.
It's unbelievable. And so, all right, so you are you're doing the GA thing, you graduate, it's time to get a job. And so you go find a job coaching.
No, actually, that was my crossroads right there.
All right, so here we go.
What
was the story? When we first met, I think you told me a story about, wasn't it Boise State? Didn't you go up there to Boise State?
Yeah, that was weird. That was just crazy.
You talk about a program.
Yeah, that was. I was.
They got some things figured out.
Praying I was going to get that job, but yeah, after my my bachelor's degree. After I finished that, I didn't want to go back to Kingsville. Actually, the only reason I wanted to go back was because of my defensive coordinator, Coach Buff, and just,
Haskell.
yeah, Haskell. That was the only reason I wanted to go back. But I've been there for 5 years. I was like, been there, done that. All my friends left. We all graduated or left. Some graduated, some didn't, but most of mine did. But yeah, I was working at I was working in Luling, Texas, actually.
Right.
I was talking about the thump earlier. At a friend's house, or for a friend's family business, oil business. It was really easy, pretty much it just kept me up.
And so, first of all, but before we get further, because man, people are gonna, people like in Michigan hear this and they're gonna think the thump.
Oh.
So, so the Luling, they have this thing. It's called a watermelon thump.
Right.
And I think thump in Luling is code for festival or something.
Right.
So I'm assuming there's watermelons there. I don't know. I've never seen it, but I mean,
you know what? I don't think I ever really saw any either.
No,
there was one spot, but that was really about it.
Yeah, it's not like if you go up into East Texas, where like in Grapeland and all those places,
Right.
they have tons of watermelon.
Right.
But I don't know if they actually. But so it's like this watermelon festival, and it's just like a reason to hear music and drink beer, and they have the watermelon thump queen.
Yes, and that is a huge thing.
Huge.
It is hilarious, man.
Yeah, and
It's
so
awesome.
one of my
It's awesome,
friends,
though. It's
one
awesome.
of my friends from college, he married an actual Luling watermelon thumb queen.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's our claim to fame. And so, what
huge,
happens? And I was just, and they're still doing it. I drove through. We stopped at to get my my Hunger Buster there at the Dairy Queen.
There you go.
And the full meal deal, and they have all these posters up that girls make at the high school. And I don't know, I don't know the nomination process, but apparently, what you do once you're nominated, or maybe you don't have to be, I don't even know if you just maybe you just do it, is they put their picture on like poster board and make signs of themselves and vote for me for Watermelon Thumb Queen. And there's like all these high school girl pictures of hoping that you will vote for them.
Right.
And so you're working in Luling,
I'm working there.
which also has a very unique odor to the place.
I was just about to say that. That's funny. Yeah. I moved there and I was living with my friends. It was him and his parents and they were rich people. They had a big old house. They're like, yeah, you can come stay here until we'll give you a job until you figure out what you're going to do or which school you're going to go to for your master's. I was like, oh, thanks. No, that's great of y'all. Appreciate that. And yeah, the first day I drove in there, I was like, what is that smell? It's like burnt oil.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's a
Man.
smell of money, brother.
Oh, and that's exactly what they told me. I said, does it always smell like this? Like, and that's what my friend's dad told me. He goes, yeah, son, that smells like money, doesn't it? I said, well, I guess so.
But this is what somebody told me. I don't know if this is true, and maybe you can clear this up. But I heard that it's not the smell of oil. This is what somebody told me. Somebody told me they put some sort of a salt water solution.
That's what it is. Yeah,
Is that true?
that's true.
And hopefully it gets the oil to rise or something or something.
I can't. I didn't really get into it.
Yeah.
I didn't really like. I picked up heavy stuff. Is pretty much all I did for him.
Get that big boy over here.
That's all I really did. So I didn't really pay attention to it. But yeah, it's something to do with the salt water. The line breaks through the ground,
Right.
through the salt water first before you hit the oil, or I don't know. It's something like that. But
Yeah.
it's true. That's what it is.
All right. So yeah. So when you'll never forget it.
No, never forget that. But yeah, I was working there, and when we were out in the field working, it was really loud by these the teeter-totter wells. I can't remember what they're called either.
Right.
But
Teeter-totter.
but
Right.
but that's what we worked on. It was really loud out there when they got going. And I emailed Boise State. I emailed a bunch of schools. I emailed every big school. Florida State, Boise State, University of Texas, A&M. I just made up this big long email, and I asked them if they had any GA spots open. And I probably sent 40 of them out. And out of all those schools, Boise State calls. And at the time, during my bachelor's degree, my girlfriend was actually from Boise State, or from Boise, Idaho. And but we just broke up, and I'm like, that'd be kind of weird for me to go back there. It's odd that Boise State had all these schools to call me, and she was moving back to Boise and all that stuff, but that's another story. But yeah, they called, and I answer my phone. I'm like yelling at the guy. I'm like, hello. hello, because I didn't know who it was. I thought it was somebody, you know, we were working with or something. Like, yeah, this is I can't remember that guy's name, but I was so and so with Boise State. Do you have a minute to talk? And I'm like, who? I was like, whoever this is, quit messing with me, you know. And I hung up on him. And he called me back like 15 minutes later. So I went and got in the truck, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, no, this is so and so from Boise State. He goes, you can look me up and confirm me. And I'm like, so I did. I'm like, all right, hold on. And but yeah, it was him, and they're like, yeah, we want to fly you up to one of our camps, and we want to interview you for the GA spot here. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm like, sweet. When is this? And he's like, yeah, next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm like, awesome. I said, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I flew up there for a couple days and met a bunch of people from different and you're right, man. The coaches and out of Texas, it's just a different beast, man. They just don't get it. You know what I mean? It's just really different. Because there was a lot of high school coaches there at this camp, and we were just helping out their kids and stuff. And it's the level of talent. So
yeah, it's a Grand Canyon.
It's weird. Like I was kind of like out of my element. I didn't know how to treat these kids because I was an intense coach. You know, I'm a yeller, you know, in your face kind of guy. You know, and you know, these kids, I guess, just weren't used to it. You know. And
crying, gave them nightmares.
Yeah, you know, it's just weird because I mean, every coach I ever had was like that. You know, they were in your face. You know, dip of snuff, like spitting it in your face.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, God. And but yeah, I went there for a couple of days, and I got down to like the final 2 applicants for this GA spot, and I didn't even know it. I didn't even talk to the coaches or anything. It's just guys like keeping me updated with it.
Right.
And I'm like, sweet. I said, so if I actually get this, I said, when would I have to be up here? And he's like, oh, if you get hired, you got to be here in like 2 or 3 weeks for camp. I'm like, wow, this is happening. I might actually do this. But yeah, I talked to the head coach for Boise State. Real nice guy, very 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 intelligent. And I talked to him for maybe 5 minutes. You know, he's kind of just sizing me up. And the last thing he said, he goes, Dave. He goes, you're probably not going to get it because the other guy's actually from Boise State. He's a former player. And I was like, you know, I know how that goes. I'm like, okay, cool. I was like, well, thanks for having me up. I said, it was a blast. You know, thanks again. And yeah, I didn't end up getting it, but that was a cool experience. You know, walking out on the Boise State field, the blue field, and yeah, it was cool, man. I met a lot of cool people, and just to even get considered for that job was just so out of left field, you know.
Such a cool school, such a cool staff that's been together, and just amazing games. I mean, still that Boise State Oklahoma game, that was just silly, unbelievable.
That was probably the best football game I've ever seen.
Yeah, me too.
It was awesome.
You know, sitting 6 inches from the TV, right, with my hand on my head, just that was crazy.
Awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
All right, so you're at this crossroads, and so now let me talk to people before we get to the here's how we met. I have a buddy named Ken Tondre, and he's in Austin. We've known each other, I think I calculated maybe 25 years now, and met in college, both musicians and both drummers. He's a drummer. I was just kind of faking it, and but he's like the real deal, and has a studio. And I walk in, I go visit all the time, and went there to the Compound recording studio in Austin, Texas, and you were there. And immediately I thought, wow, check it out, Kevin Fowler's got security staff now. He's hired a bodyguard or something. and then but you know, he introduced us and he said, you're a singer, and I was like, get out, come on,
all the time.
And and then it happened. Then you sang, and it was like, oh, what is going on with that? It just came out of that guy's mouth, man. Did you hear it? And so you must get well, the first thing I have to ask you, did you never get that? Because I like growing up, you hear people sing all the time, people singing with the radio,
right?
And you think, oh my God, just shut up, that's so bad. But did somebody ever say to you, bro, you can really sing?
Yeah, when I was like 22 in college.
It took that long?
Well, I guess in high school, when I was young, I would sing, but I just never, like, people were like, hey, I think you're pretty good, you know, because I guess in junior high we had to take choir,
right,
or something like that, and I I remember the choir teacher always saying something like, she's like, you're actually good at this. And I'm like, I just went, one in an ear out the other. I'm like, what time's football practice?
Right.
I didn't give to,
Right.
about it. And, I remember I was 21 or 22 in college. It was the first time I actually like realized like, hey, I can actually sing, I think. And, I was actually watching we're at the house and my two roommates are there. I'm like, hey, y'all, I'm gonna sing a song for y'all. Just let me know what y'all think. I think it was an Alabama song, like Dixieland Delight. So, it's one of my favorite tunes. And both of them were like, "Wow, Dave, that's something." I'm like, "Yeah," I said, "I think I'm pretty good at this," And that's really how it just kind of out of nowhere. And then, like I said, getting right after my bachelor's degree is when I was getting real heavy into the writing part of it. It just all happened so fast, man. It was so weird.
Yeah.
But
that is the weird part. It's like that happened that so fast without the foundation that typically is in place.
Right. I went in head first, and didn't know what was going on. I did a lot of research as much as I could, on how things work and how you make money doing it and all that stuff. I did all that stuff prior to making the decision to do it. So I'm like, all right, well, I can get into coaching and make a good living, or I can try this and I can be successful. I just got to figure it out.
Right.
Which I still haven't figured that out yet.
Dude, let me tell you, man, not many people, so many people are right there. We're just stuck trying to figure out how this business works because it doesn't work like it used to.
No, not at all.
Not at all, man. People used to make money off of records. Not so much anymore. Nothing. Used to, and then, got to the point where, there were, first it was a talent thing.
Right.
And then it wasn't really a talent thing. It was just who they're going to pick next to market.
Right.
Or who had a dad with a lot of money.
Right. Right, you're just taking it right out of my mouth.
Right. And so but now it's such a weird thing because now what's left is this. There's not even a pie left for people to take money. It's just, so all these people are still involved in music, but there's a slice left, and all these people instead of slicing up a pie, they're slicing up a slice into slivers,
right?
And
Yes.
and you're trying to pick off crumbs as it comes off. So it's this whole interesting, this transformational, this metamorphosis of the music business where people are trying to figure out how to make money yet still produce art because what we're talking about is art. And great music, and so that's where you are. So your career, you started off, you played some open mics and you got some gigs, found some guys to be in the band doing your thing. You meet Ken Tondre, the Compound Recording Studio. Let's make a record. It comes out great. You're obviously going to be a megastar within months.
I'm telling, like, we were all really excited. Like, it was crazy. Like the way we all thought this was gonna, Ken, like he knew, like he's like, man, you could do something with this, but he's like, it's so hard, man. It just like he really broke it down for me, And but yeah, like how it started, man, it came together. It just happened, Like with I was playing solo shows, and like all of a sudden I had a bass player, and then I had a harmony singer, and then I had a lead guitar player, and then I had a drummer. But I didn't even ask for these. Like they just showed up and they're like, "Hey, can I please be in your band? Like you're good." And I'm like, "Yeah, man, sure. Let's try it out."
Sign up, brother.
Yeah. So yeah, but
huddle up.
But I started in May of 2008. Like that's when I started doing it full time.
4 years, right?
Yeah, May of 2008. So I was a 3-piece acoustic cover band. We played Texas country. I played Kevin Fowler songs and Sweet Home Alabama and all that, all that jazz.
Oh, we're going to get to that tune in just a second, brother.
I know.
It's coming.
And, yeah, I was doing that, and I mean, making a good. I thought I was doing great. I was making some good money, and I'm like, man, I'm just singing into a mic, and people are just throwing money at me. I'm like, this is pretty cool, but I didn't know what the difference was at the time between original and cover. Because at my shows when I first started, I probably got out of a. I used to play those 3 1-hour sets, where you have to play, 40 or 45 songs, it's just so much music, and I would only get about 4 or 5 originals in, but I thought I was like doing good, getting my stuff in.
Yeah.
And, that I did that for about a year and a half, like the cover band thing. And that's when I met Sean Canfield, a guy that I still work with today, my guitar player. I want to say you might have met Sean. anyways, he played a lot of the lead tracks on my record,
Okay.
and he's a real talented guy, a great writer, great guitar player, and he knows the business pretty good, you know, to a point. And it just seemed like I was getting so much information, you know, from different sources, trying to figure out how I can do this, you know, those 90-minute sets or those hour sets and make the same amount of money I was making playing my own music, you know. And I wouldn't say I'm not conceited by any means. I'm just you know, what's a good word for it? I just knew it was good. Like the original songs were good. You know,
Right.
the vocals were good. The players I had around me were just outstanding. Like, and we met Ken Tondre because I was a huge Kevin Fowler fan. Still am.
Right.
I mean, I got every album he has. I used to play like 15 of his songs. Seriously, 15 of them, like all the time. And
It's got a groupie, brother.
yeah, I'm telling you, I went to I've probably been to 50 Kevin Fowler shows. I'm not even kidding. I was that guy, and I just thought he was I mean, like the best thing that ever happened to country music. I'm like, how isn't this guy like George Strait status? You know, I really thought that back in the day. And he's a talented guy, good writer. You know, his songs are good. Anyways, Sean knew that I was a big Kevin Fowler fan. And he goes, hey, well, you know, his drummer Ken has a studio there in a compound. And I was like, yeah. I said, I know who Ken Tondre is. I said, he's Kevin Fowler's drummer. I said, I've never met the guy. I didn't know he had a studio. And I didn't know anything, you know. And Sean sent him a track, a scratch track or something that I did. And, Ken called back, I think, like in the next, within the hour. And me and Sean are sitting there doing something at the studio. And he goes, man, that was Ken Tondre. I was like, he already called you back? And he goes, yeah. I was like, that's cool. He's like, yeah, he wants to meet up with us just whenever we can, you know. And I'm like, sweet. So we went and met with him. And I didn't know like how much how much album cost to do, like what the process was. And he kind of broke it down. And I'm like, it's going to cost how much to do this? And I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was just man. I got so deep so quick, you know, as far as finding money to do this and finding investors and banks and and I got so deep so quick. It was almost like quicksand, man. And I spent the money on the right things, but there's so many different things you have to spend the money on after you get the album.
Yeah.
It's like radio tours, but
What? You don't have pictures? Oh no.
Hey,
photography.
Oh, it was funny, man. I have no sense of style. This is my normal attire. I mean,
Sweats.
and dude, Ken had a field day with me, man. He goes, so do you have any photos? And I'm like, no. What? No. And he goes, all right, well, I'm going to hire this guy to come in, and he's going to take some photos of us tomorrow at the studio, just, to get you something on your website, some professional photos.
Sure.
I'm like, cool. I walk in, and it's summertime. I walk in with my cargo shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top, like that's just what I wore. And he goes, are you seriously wearing that? And Ken's decked out, man. He has the little sideways hat thing going, and his tight shirts and tight pants. I'm like, dang, you look pretty good, Ken. He goes, you're not seriously wearing that. I said, that's all I got, brother. He goes, man, so Ken had to take me shopping.
There you go.
I didn't even know what Buckle was.
Right.
I swear to God. He goes, yeah, let's go to Buckle and a couple of these stores. I'm like, Buckle? He goes, seriously? I went, I've never been there. I don't know. Yeah, man. I bought about 6 or 8 shirts that I would never wear again.
Right.
And the only thing I liked was the pants he picked out. Which these might be it right here, I think.
Right.
But yeah, that was funny. But I wish I would have somebody would have explained to me after I dropped my album. I wish they would have explained how the marketing side of it worked.
Oh, yeah.
Like how to get your music out there the best way. And but it's just, man, so much money. So much money to get it, just to get started, Yeah. But once it catches, you can make it all back, But that's the one thing I didn't do very well because I just didn't know how it worked, and I still don't know to this day.
Most people, I mean, I don't think anybody. It's all changing, man. I mean, in the moment, it's different every day. It seems like, and it's just finding a way to get listeners and get the stuff out.
I mean, to a point, I know how to do it, but I mean, it's like I do everything by myself pretty much. I'm a one-man team pretty much.
Yeah.
Besides my drummer, he's like my right-hand man, you know, but on the live show side, there's so much more stuff beyond the, you know, just the live shows and putting the show together, you know, and those are the people I don't know. I mean, as an artist, there's only so much an artist can do to get his stuff out there. I mean, and I've done everything I can, you know, and you just have to find that right contact, you know, the guy who knows how to market, you know, where to put, you know, when to put your ad in this paper or when to put it on Facebook or when you know, put it at the right times where people are going to see it. Like the more people are going to see it at this time than they would 2 months down the road.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's crazy.
It is.
I just haven't met that guy yet. So, but hopefully, I know a guy and, through a mutual friend, and like, that's what he does. He's like a marketing guru for Texas country artists. And I'm like, I need to meet him like tomorrow. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
All right, so how did the voice thing happen? Everybody knows that Dave Grace was on The Voice season 2, if I remember.
Yeah, season 2.
Now, how does that whole process works? Because let me tell you something. I'm not really down with reality TV.
I'm not either.
And in fact, the only thing that's real about reality TV is like you are really sitting on your couch wasting time. That's the only thing that's real about reality TV. So how do you get involved?
Man,
your life is a whole bunch of I don't know how it happened.
I really don't, man. I was never a fan. I mean, of any type of reality TV. Not singing, American Idol. I've never even watched them.
Right.
You know, and even the first season of The Voice, I knew what it was. I didn't know how the show worked or anything. You know, and my manager goes, "Hey man, you ever thought about trying for The Voice?" And I went, "No, I've never thought about it one time ever."
Including right now.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know what happened. I think he emailed somebody like one of the producers for The Voice and sent him some videos of me just playing just acoustic, you know, or maybe some of my full band stuff. And this lady emailed me back, and she goes, "Hey, this is so and so with The Voice," and I'm like, "The hell, you know, what's going on here?" And we want to, you know, have you come try out for The Voice this year. And I said, "Look, I'm telling you this in the nicest way possible." I said, "I'm not a fan of any type of singing competitions. I'm not going to stand in line for 26 hours to sing a half a song that these people are probably not even going to listen to really because they've been there for 26 hours too."
Right.
I said, just not a fan. And I said, no offense, really, you know. She goes, "Oh no, we want to bring you in for a private audition." I'm like, "Oh well, how does that work?" I mean, I was
now
like,
we're talking.
I'm like, all right. I said, if I ain't got to stand in the line, you know, I'm good to go. And they're like, "Yeah, you know, meet us at Sugar Hill Studios this time, this day." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Here in Houston.
Yeah, here in Houston. And I was like, "All right, cool." I was like, "That's just, you know, that's up the road, not too far." So I go over there, and there's like 200 cars. And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me." I was like, "I'm going to be here all." I almost turned around and walked off, you know. I'm like, "I'm not going to sit here and wait." But I walked up, and there was a guy with a picture, and it was a picture of me. And they're like, "You David Grace?" And I said, "That's me." I said, "All right, follow us." And I walked by everybody. Everybody's like sitting in line in the chairs, and like they're standing in line. I cut everybody. Like they walk me to the front to where the executive producers are.
Right.
And they're like, "You ready to go?" And I was like, I looked back. I mean, all them people are like, "Who is this guy just coming in?"
Hold on, let me fix my flip flops.
I wasn't dressed for anything. Like I was supposed to dress like nice, you know? And but I thought it was just going to be like, you know, like one of these type things, kind of, you know, come in, chill. If you like it, you know, send me through or whatever.
Right.
But I cut all these people, and I'm like, man, I bet you all these people just think I'm the biggest dumbass.
Right.
I'm like, God dang. And anyway, I walk in, and like, man, I blew it up. I'm like, I got done with my song, and I'm like, that sounded good. And
did y'all hear me?
and the three executive producers, they were like, "Yeah, that was good." And they're like, "All right, that's all we need." I said, "Cool, man." I said, "Thanks for having me in," you know. And I walked off, and actually the girl that I cut, she actually made the show, and I didn't. It was really funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I got a call like the following week, and they said, "Hey, this is so and so from The Voice. You made it to the
live show."
Well, to
the live show audition.
Well, the first cut.
There's more to it.
Yeah, and I was like, I was like, all right, cool. So they flew me up there for a week, and like you said, we just didn't do anything. It was a paid vacation, is all it was. And I did one more audition, and apparently I did pretty good with it. And they pushed me through to the live performance show. So I only auditioned twice.
Yeah.
And I'm on TV, and I'm like, wow. And the people that made it with me, they were telling me these horror stories. They're like, this is my 12th audition, and I'm like, what? I was like, I auditioned twice and I'm here. I was like, I don't even know what's going on right now. Like I was in country, back road Texas town 2 days ago. Now I'm in LA. So yeah, that's how that happened. And then I mean, just crazy.
So how does the process work? So you got to rehearse with the band. How many times do you get to rehearse? Or
Twice.
You get to rehearse twice with the band before you're about to be on TV.
Right.
And these are pros. This band isn't not just
those guys.
Those are
wow.
They read it down one time live, and they just kill it.
They do. And the drummer is actually one of Ken's buddies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that dude's amazing.
Man, I mean, they told us because we were there for 6 weeks actually. Right. The people that were going to make the live show, I think it got down to 125 or something like that. But then out of those 125, throughout that 6 week period, they narrowed it down to like 75. Mm-hmm. Like they're just sending people home for no reason, left and right. And I'm like, oh God. So, anyways, I mean, this was a huge thing for me because I make my money on weekends, and I got to book out in advance.
Right.
And I got all these weeks off. If they just send me home, I'm going back to. I got to start from scratch pretty much. So that was the only nerve-wracking part for me. But yeah, we were there for 6 weeks, and we got to rehearse with the band twice on the stage. And yeah, man, the musicians were just, I couldn't believe it. It's just, they can get any song, and they all know it in any key.
Yep.
They're like
the best of the best.
Oh man,
right now.
Just awesome, man. And that was cool. Like playing with them cats, man. They were.
All right, now of all the tunes in the world that you could possibly sing,
I didn't pick it. They picked it for me.
See, that's what people don't understand. I want to get this out because I heard this rumor.
I want to get it out too.
This is now thousands of people are going to know the truth. So this is what I heard because you have a voice that I would compare it to like Mark Broussard, somebody like that, and where it's soulful. There's like years in the tone of the voice that not chronologically, but somehow there's years of, I don't know what, like it just sounds like you're an older dude that's been around and has felt the pain of who knows what, but it's all in the tone and the color, what I call the colors of the sound of the voice.
Right.
And so I could not think of a worse tune to pick. It's a great song, but it's not a song that you can show off your voice and all that you have to offer with the way you bend the pitch and the blue notes that you use and all that.
Right.
So, and just so people know what we're talking about here, I'm going to dial this up, and we're going to listen to it twice because it's only a minute. Now listen to this, and I want you to keep the number. No, here's the number I want you to keep in mind: 31. Just hold that in your mind, and we'll come back to 31 in a little bit. All right.
All right.
So. All right, so here we go. David Gray, Season 2 on The Voice.
Gosh.
Well, turn it up. Baby, once you get it, I think it's
All right, so we're going to talk about this a couple of times. So that's the first listening, and we're gonna play it again. And the reason I said, but this time we're going to talk over it. And the reason I said that we want to keep in mind 31.
Right.
31 seconds in. That's when everybody in America would have slapped that freaking red button. 31 seconds in. And I'm going to tell you where it is. Here we go. Listen again.
All right.
Well, turning
All right, it's all good so far. Here we go. I don't want to miss this. Sounds good. Everybody goes, oh, listen to that now. Might have something here. Slam right there. So you are the guy. You're the guy that everybody in America goes, what the hell just happened?
Man.
You're the guy, because there's a guy, there's somebody every season.
Right.
And I don't watch any reality TV except for American Idol and The Voice.
Right.
And so it's kind of like our family thing. We gather around, we record it, we all love it. And we don't watch it for the bad people. Like on American Idol, man, we don't, I can't
Right.
take that. I can't take the making fun. I just like to hear great music, great singers that nobody knows about. And by the way, we're going to talk about your dad here in a second. And so, but man, that you're the guy that everybody knew, no doubt. That was talent on the stage, and we missed it. Well, first of all, those three missed it, but then because of that, we missed, who knows, maybe a couple more weeks, maybe 5 more weeks of finding out more about you. And how did that feel, dude? How did that feel knowing that?
Man, that was actually the story to me starting that whole the whole going on stage was hilarious. I didn't even know it happened. It was over before I don't remember anything of it.
Yeah, what is it? It's like a minute and 45 seconds or two, or I mean it's
crazy.
It's a 2-minute thing.
Well, see, the thing was, we did everything twice. Like everything we did for the cameras, we always did everything twice, called a dry run.
Sure.
And when I was walking up there, right before I was about to go, sing, they go, "All right, you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I thought I was just going to do a dry run, walking up to the stage, and then come back and then actually do it.
Right.
So, so I walk up there, and like this lady is like looking at me. She's like, "Are you ready to go?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
Easy, mama.
yeah." I'm like, "Yeah." It's like it's just a dry run, right? And I even said that, and she's like, looked at me, and I was like, "What?" Anyways, I walked up on stage,
Right.
and I turned around to come walk back off, and man, and that was the eeriest thing. Like, there's 400 people in this room, stadium seating. I've never been nervous besides my very first time. But you can hear a freaking pin drop in there. Like, I can hear myself breathing.
Yeah,
It was that
man.
quiet.
Studio sound, right?
Yeah,
Studio
it's
quality, right?
crazy. And so I walked out on stage, and I saw the people. I waved at them, and I went to go walk back off stage. And the producer lady's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm coming back down. I got to redo it, right?" And she goes, "No, this is it. This is your time right now." And I'm like, "Wow." So I didn't warm up. I went straight from the trailer to the stage.
Yeah.
Like, in 5 minutes. I didn't know what was going on. And I turned to the band leader, the piano player, and I said it real loud, and I said the F word. I'm not gonna lie. I said, "Am I supposed to start right now?" And I know everybody heard me, and he's like, "Yeah, bro." He's like, "This is it." And I'm like, "God." I said, "All right." So when I turned around and started, and it was over before I can even. The first time I actually heard it was when I saw it on TV.
Really?
I didn't know how I sounded. I thought I sounded like crap because nobody turned around,
Yeah.
And I heard it for the first time. I'm like, "Oh, well, that wasn't very bad." So
No, it was great.
yeah, it was just weird, man.
Yeah.
Really weird. It was just it was cool though. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time,
But deep down inside at the core, man, you're a competitor.
Oh man, once I was over, like,
Daddy hates to lose.
man, I got a bunch of the reviews. Man, half of America liked it, and half of it they didn't. And,
Welcome to America.
well,
yeah.
they didn't like my demeanor after I was done. because I was like, apparently I looked really angry.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care what they had to say because they didn't turn around.
Right.
But it wasn't like that. Like, I got done and I'm like, I cannot believe it's already over. I've been here for 6 weeks. I'm like, God dang. And they're like, oh, this kid thinks he's too good for, you know, whatever. And I'm like, no. I said it just happened so fast. I said it. You know, it was crazy how fast it went. You know, it was over like that. And but yeah, I got a lot of bad reviews the way I acted afterwards.
Well, you know,
I mean, I didn't know what to say because they cut out a lot of the stuff they said. Pretty much, they all said, "We don't know why we didn't turn around."
Yeah,
that was like their thing. And then Blake Shelton said something like, "He's like, yeah, you're doing something with your vocal. You know, you're doing something like this." And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, that's what I do.
I was like, he goes, I didn't know if you were trying to go there or what did he say? I didn't know.
It was talking about bending the pitch and
yeah. He goes, it wasn't wrong, and I'm like, all right. I'm like, is that it? I mean, is that the feedback I get?
Right.
You know, it was weird, man. Like,
yeah.
They didn't tell me anything. You know, the only guy that was that made sense to me was CeeLo. He just goes, hey man, he goes, you're great. He goes, I just didn't need, you know, I'm looking for a different vocal on my team right now.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, man. I mean,
yeah, I think, you know, people really, you know, that's the danger of these types of shows when we sit on the couch and we judge somebody and you don't know the process, man. They've been there for 6 freaking weeks. They've only rehearsed twice in 6 weeks with this band.
Right.
You're about to get on a stage in front of millions and millions of people,
right.
and the whole thing is just a whirlwind. You don't really know what's going on.
Right.
They're pushing you here, pushing you there, but next thing you got a mic in front of you and the lights go on and,
Right.
you know, and they say applause sign and here we go. Let's do it.
Man.
And in 2 minutes, it's just like, you know, one of those emotional moments because it's so intense. You're just like in a blur. You're not really there.
Right.
It just happened.
It just, man, it was.
And then and what we're left with is a guy who is young in the business, standing on stage, who really deep down inside, he's a football coach more than he is a musician at this point.
Right.
He had more experience.
Yeah.
More
for
experience on the football field. And with that, and you know what? I don't know about your experience with coaches, but mine, they don't really give you feedback about how they feel about you. They tell you what it is. You listen, you move on.
That's it. Yeah.
And so that's really what that's who you are. You stood there, you listened, and all right, good, got it. Let's move on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was just, man, it's just like you said. It was so fast. Like you're always getting pushed and pulled, and you know, all that time. And actually, what people don't know too is that there was 120 people, and 40 of them didn't even get to go because the teams filled up.
Yeah.
So like 40 people went through that whole 7-week process and didn't even didn't have a chance to audition in front of the coaches.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is.
And a friend of mine, actually, he's from Austin. He was there, and he was one of those guys that didn't get to go. And I'm like, man, that's gotta suck so bad. Like that whole time we're here, you know, and man, it was just crazy how that whole process was. It was very different. The best part about it, though, everybody there was very, very good. Man, everybody had their own thing going on.
Yeah.
I mean, like it wasn't like you said, like American Idol with the people who are just trying to get on TV, you know,
Right,
and can't really do anything. Everybody there could sing, and I mean, wow, just so much talent. And I've never been around like, you know, in the Texas country market, you know. I mean, I'll just say it. Not all of them are great singers.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah.
There's only a handful of them. So like, I wasn't used to being around that kind of talent, man. 125 people, and they were all good. At
Yeah.
what they did. I mean, so good. Because they'd sit around and do the kumbaya circles or whatever. I never did that, but I would go listen
The
to them.
campfire. You're talking.
And everybody that sang, I'm like, wow, man, it's just what talent's here, just crazy. That was the best part. And I met a lot of cool people too.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hey man, you want to do a song for us?
Sure, man.
How about it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reset this up and get it just right for you, and we'll do a tune, and then it'll be awesome.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it. Here we go.
All right. Ready to go?
Are you kidding me?
You come into my house, you crash on my couch. You watch my TV, then you read my mail. And how am I supposed to hide the feelings down deep inside when you're the only one who really even knows? I did not invite you, I would never make you leave. Was so wrapped up in you, was tangled up in me. Day, you hit me like a freight train. You brought me down, took me to my knees. Hit me like a freight train on a moonlit night, saying everything but leave. I did not see it coming, but I'm going your way. You hit me like a freight train, and I guess I played the part. Barricades around my heart, drowning in the things that used to be. Here I am, I won't turn back. I was meant to be on your track, and yesterday just ain't a place for me, no. You are the reason my world set to spin. So hold on to me until I gain control again. You hit me like a freight train. You brought me down, took me to my knees. Hit me like a freight train on a moonlit night, saying everything but believe. I did not see it coming, but I'm going your way. You hit me like a freight train. Hit me like a freight train, you brought me down, took me to my knees. You hit me like a freight train on a moonlit night, saying everything but believe. Oh yeah, you hit me like a freight train. You brought me down, took me to my knees. Like a freight train on a moonlit night, saying everything but believe. I did not see it coming, but I'm going your way. You hit me like a freight train. Like a freight train.
Stand here.
Ready to roll?
Says that she loves me, and I believe that she does. The feeling's unconditional, I can feel it in a touch. But to simplify the rumors and lies that she hears when I'm gone, something she can't handle or deal with on her own. And where she goes to ease her mind, I wish I didn't know. She thinks her world's crashing down after she hangs up the phone. And if I don't fight, she'll break away into another man's arms, because I know who she runs to when I'm gone. We'll sit down and talk about it when I come in off the road. She'll cry and try to sympathize with what she thinks that I did wrong. She's testing my faith. Is she really gonna leave me behind? I think I found my answer when she left in the middle of the night. And where she goes to ease her mind, I wish I didn't know. She thinks her world's crashing down after she hangs up the phone. And if I don't fight, she'll break away into another man's arms, because I know who she runs to when I'm gone. Why do I keep wasting my time? I ought to jump off this mountain and let him try the climb. Oh, let him try the climb. Oh, yeah. When she goes to ease her mind, I wish I didn't know. Her world's crashing down after she hangs up the phone. And if I don't fight, she'll break away into another man's arms, because I know who she runs to when I'm gone. Yes, I know who she runs to when I'm gone. Yes, I know who she runs to when I'm gone. Yes, I know who she runs to.
David Grace. How about it, man?
That was fun, man. Thanks for having me in.
Absolutely. Hey, what's next, real quick? For the music career, I know you're taking some time, not playing as many shows, and moving on doing some bigger things. And so you're writing new tunes, and always, I'm sure, working on a new record in the back of the mind.
Right.
What's next? What's on the calendar?
I got a couple shows coming up. I'm actually playing the presidential inauguration this weekend.
The presidential inauguration.
Yeah. Me and a couple of buddies of mine are playing in Washington, D.C. this weekend, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like this type of setting, like an acoustic style setting, so
Right.
it'll be fun. Hopefully, the next thing I want to do is definitely a new album, get the new songs out there. It's been about a year and a half, 2 years since I dropped anything, so give the fans some new tunes to listen to.
Yeah.
That second one, that's a new one. It's called Run To. Pretty cool little tune. But yeah, I'll probably start playing again, 3-4 nights a week, I'd say March or April. So, but I got some things in the works, man, and hopefully it all goes through. I'll get get back on tour and get out there and get the ball rolling.
Here's the good news, man. There's, the good news is that talent always comes out on top. And brother, you got it, man.
And I appreciate you. I really do. Thanks a lot. We'll see what happens with it, man.
I know what happens.
Keep,
Dude, the first time I met you, man, I sent you a message on Facebook. I told you, dude, you're the real thing.
That was cool.
And I said, man, I told you, I mean, I've heard a lot of people come through that compound recording studio, and I faked it with the rest of them. Say, good job, man. You're down. Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. That's keeper. Keep it. And then I headed out the door, and we all think, oh, good Lord, man. That poor guy, man. He's seems so committed. That's a shame.
Yeah.
But man, when you came through, everybody's like, holy, you got to hear this guy. And so, man, I know there's great things in the works, and man, I'm proud that I'm proud to know that you're out there working hard, living the dream, and you know, so many people just don't follow their passion. Right. And I tell you, man, if there's a takeaway for teachers, and you know what it is, I mean, you know, the football thing was your focus at the time. Right. And sure, there's fundamentals there, and there was commitment, and there was hard work, and there's enthusiasm, and all those ingredients. But really, what those ingredients were, I mean, it wasn't really about football. It was taking all that same recipe now and applying it to whatever it is. And for you, it happens to be that passion for music.
Right. Exactly right. Yeah, the drive and dedication and the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Of the music industry is it all gels from football, man. My experience with football in school. I mean, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
That's where it all stems from.
Good, man. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks a lot, Hal. I had a good time, man. It was fun.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, you got it.
Take care.
You too.